Okay, this is like my fourth time trying to do this shit. So today is kind of a special day because I'm finally seeing 2001: A Space Odyssey in 70mm. I'm extremely excited about it. You know, Kubrick's my favorite director. He's the filmmaker that inspires me the most. And this film is sort of towards the middle of his filmography for me. Like, I hope that I appreciate it a lot more watching it in 70mm, because this might sound like a cliche or maybe even cringy, but I have heard that seeing 2001 in 70mm is life-changing or very inspiring, you know, as a filmmaker. So I'm very excited to do it, but it's always been on my bucket list to see a film in 70mm, specifically a film that was shot in 65 and projected in 70mm, you know, because there's a lot of films that were shot in 35 and they just blew them up to 70, and I really am just excited to see this film, a 70mm film. And this is going to be kind of a road trip, like it's a 3-hour long drive. So yeah, but I will see you guys on the road. If you guys want to check out my short film Rocky Top, you can definitely check it out, and see you on the interstate. There's the man of the hour. What up, dude? You excited to see 2001?
Fuck yeah.
I'm vlogging.
Oh, you're
I'm a vlogger now.
in 70mm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
This is projected in 70mm. This vlog.
It's gonna be amazing.
Hi, Peyton. We made it. Actually, no, we didn't. We're still on the road.
We still got
We still got a little bit left.
50 minutes.
You guys excited to see this?
It's probably not. I'm not even American.
So it's crazy because 2001 is your all's favorite film, and
Absolutely.
Hunter and I don't even like it. We've never even seen it before.
Yeah, we're coming here for us.
What movie are we seeing again?
That's a joke. So my plan was to vlog the whole experience, and I don't know why, but I suck at vlogging. Like, I'll start, and then, I don't know, I just get really caught up. Like, whenever we ended up grabbing sushi and pizza, and I went to a Mediterranean market, and then we went Criterion hunting and got ice cream. Yeah, so, yeah. But we did see 2001: A Space Odyssey in glorious 70mm, and I want to talk about my experience more so than just talking about the film itself, because it does sort of give me an excuse to talk about 2001. And I would say that my ranking for 2001 and, you know, Kubrick's filmography, it hasn't changed, even with the experience that I had, because I still really love the film and I really appreciate it. But one thing that I was very surprised with was when we walked out, there was a few people, even in the group that I was in, that didn't really care much for the film at all. And there were also a few people that were not a part of my group that went and seen the film. And when the intermission, you know, started, and we all went to the restroom, there was, I think, 2 people I heard saying, "I'm so glad that there was an intermission," you know, and it just, I think it's kind of insane, like how much we've changed culturally when it comes to films, because 2001, a lot of people see it as a crowning achievement, but a lot of people also see it as like the most boring film ever made. So I just find that very interesting, you know, how some people love Kubrick and some people don't. I personally love him as a director, although there are some films that he's made that I don't like at all. I think it would be very pretentious of me, and also I would just be lying if I didn't understand some of the criticisms for 2001, because I do believe that 2001, there was a saying from Stephen King that The Shining was basically this big, beautiful Cadillac with no engine. And I do think that would probably more so apply to 2001 than something like The Shining, because I do think The Shining has a lot of layers and a lot of depth, although I do think 2001 does as well. But 2001, it is a slower film. There's not a lot of stuff that's going on, except, you know, if you take it visually. And sometimes people just don't care about metaphors and the underlying message of things and what's under the layers. You know, people just don't care. They're there to watch a film. So I can't fault that. So I would be lying if I said I didn't understand the criticisms that people had with 2001. I don't know how people are going to receive the film years and years later. It just seems like people's attention spans go down as, you know, the years pass. But me, I enjoyed the film, and the reason why I like it so much, and the reason why I appreciate 2001, because it is one of the few films that it's more so an experience than entertainment. You know, this is something that, you know, you have a mixed drink. You know, you can take big drinks of the mixed drink. It tastes good, but I consider 2001 a fine whiskey where you just want to sip it and you just want to appreciate it. You're eventually going to get to the end of it, and when you get to the end of it, you're either going to get tipsy or you're not. I don't know, maybe that was a poor fucking analogy. But I had a lot of fun seeing it in 70mm. Now, my experience seeing it in 70mm, there seemed to be a problem with the projection because there was a little bit of a slant where I don't think the projection was completely filling up the screen. I don't think it was completely even with the screen. One of my buddies, my buddy LR next to me, he said, why is the screen like this? And I said it was because it was the way Kubrick intended. But that was, I mean, it kind of was noticeable, but after a while I kind of quit worrying about it. But it was so nice seeing a film that was actually in 70mm, just seeing the film grain and the pops and just seeing it how people saw it back in the day. That was, I think, the deciding factor of my experience, because I've seen 2001 a bunch of times. I've seen it on Blu-ray, I've seen the 4K, I've seen it in theaters, and it was just more so the experience for me. Now, one thing that I was actually not completely impressed with, and I don't know if this was the theater itself or if this just was the audio, but I was not the biggest fan of the way the sound was. I just felt like the sound at times, sometimes the dialogue was way too low, sometimes the sound effects were way too high, sometimes the score was way too loud. And then sometimes the dialogue sounded normal, so I'm not exactly sure what was going on with that. I don't know if that was a problem with the audio or for the theater or for the actual film itself. I have no idea. But apparently the film that we watched, this was an actual negative that was sent from the Kubrick estate. So, and I noticed too the color timing for this compared to the 4K, which this might sound, I might end up pissing a lot of people off, but I found that, I don't know, I like how 4Ks look. Just because they have sort of that clean look to them, and I don't know, I like it, but the color timing was everything looked a lot brighter in this version, which was kind of a unique way to see it, because I don't even think the Blu-ray really looked like that, and I heard from somebody that the Clockwork Orange 35mm print had a different color timing than the home releases, so curious to see how that would be, but the color timing was very different compared to the other times that I've watched it. And I might have to go back and look at the Blu-rays that I have, because I feel like that there was a cut in the film itself that was different than the ones that are on the home release. I could be wrong. My mind could have just been playing tricks on me. But when I saw it, it was kind of a little bit jarring, because it was one of those cuts where you're sort of in like a wide, and then it just pushes into one character still within that wide coverage. So, I don't remember that watching it like the other 5 times that I've seen it. But all in all, the experience was great. And it was also nice to have that intermission, not because I had to pee really bad and get another fucking beer, but it was just nice because you really do get a chance to just sort of soak it all in. And then when you sit back down, it's I think it's a very unnecessary intermission, because the film is not that long. A lot of people think that this film is 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 20 something minutes. It is not a long film, but I think it's the pacing that people have an issue with it, which again, I would be lying if I said I didn't understand where people were coming from. I think seeing this film, again, there was one issue that I had with it, and it's the same issue that I have with Psycho every time I watch it, where there's just unnecessary exposition in the dialogue, where in Psycho, I hate the ending of Psycho. I'm about to spoil it. I won't spoil it. Actually, don't leave the video. Please don't go. But I do not like the ending of Psycho, where there's that exposition dump for like 3 minutes. I don't like that. I don't. I get upset every time I see it. I think they should have just ended the film right there. They should have just ended it when you find out the reveal, and then ended it where Bates is looking at the camera. That's it. That exposition, out the door. I will die on that hill. I don't like it. And there's a specific moment in 2001 where we see 2 characters, Frank and Bowman, talk inside this pod, and it's right before the intermission. And you see the camera pan back and forth from their mouths, when they're talking. And basically, it's hinting that Hal can read their lips. And I knew that as an audience. I'm not fucking stupid. And then there's sort of this little exposition dump with Hal basically saying, "Oh, I could read your lips." And I'm just like, you could have taken that out. That's bad writing, I think, personally. That could have just went. And it was sort of strange, because it never really bothered me before. And it's kind of, you as whether or not you're a filmmaker or just a casual audience or just a cinephile or all 3 or 2 of them, I don't know, just pick and choose, playing a game show here. But sometimes you feel a little bit weird judging films from other directors that are, you know, known as the greatest thing ever. But at the same time, you know, you do get to a point to where you start thinking of things logically and you're like, okay, well, yeah, I get it. I'm not the person that made this film, you know, and it's like, I'm not Kubrick or I'm not Tarkovsky or I'm not Fincher or whatever, you know, but you kind of look at things and you're like, okay, maybe my point is valid. And that's where I was getting at with people coming out of the theater and they sort of had a different expectation on the film, or they just didn't really care too much for it, or maybe they just wanted the experience, which the experience is great. So maybe, I mean, I could probably understand if people didn't like this film but just wanted to go for the 70mm experience, because it really is an experience. Like, you think you've seen movies before and then you see something in 70mm and you're like, fuck, guess I'll watch all my films like that. But then you can't, because you don't have a theater close to you, so you have to drive 3 fucking hours to go see it. And that's sort of what I took from this experience. I still love 2001. It's always going to have a place in my heart, but it was, I don't know. It was like, it's kind of bittersweet because you actually see it with a big crowd of people and not just by yourself or just with a couple of people, and you sort of get to see these opinions and reactions. And I don't know, it's so bittersweet, but at the same time, it's an experience. And I guess when you get on a roller coaster ride or something like that, you'll get off the ride. There's some people laughing. There's some people that were unimpressed. There's some people throwing up, and somebody's lost their phone. Art is subjective. Yeehaw. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. If you guys want to check out my filmography, you definitely can do so. You can check it out in the description below on my link tree. It would mean the world to me. You can also log it on Letterboxd. It, you know, helps me out as a filmmaker. And again, would mean the world to me, trying to get my filmmaking stuff out there. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Follow me on my social. Let me know what you think of 2001. What's your favorite Kubrick film? And also, have you seen 2001 in 70mm? If you did, what'd you think about it? And I'll see you next time.